In 1956, the immortal Fats Domino had a #1 hit with his version of Blueberry Hill. Now, this actually caused an argument between me and my parents. I had been taking piano lessons for just a few months when I discovered that I could play by ear or memory the tunes that I heard on the radio. Now, I was learning Blueberry Hill and just kind of messing with it, working out the melody and a rudimentary accompaniment in the left hand, when my father, who was a talented amateur pianist himself, comes up to me and says, "That's not how that goes." So I'm like, "What's not how what goes?" He says, "Right at the beginning of the verse, those very first few notes, you're adding an extra note that isn't there." Now, I had never heard the original version of this tune, and I was completely unaware of the fact that in 1956, Blueberry Hill was already an oldie, which Fats was covering as an R&B rock and roll type version, which incidentally most of the grown-ups hated. Fats, of course, infinitely improved that song, and he sang the melody in a bluesy, soulful style, complete with the appropriate vocal embellishments. And the so-called extra note comes from Fats' style of singing. Now, the original crooner's version of the tune sounds a little like, "I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill," whereas Fats sang, "I found my thrill." That little thing is called the vocal embellishment. And that is what gives rise to the extra note. Now, I didn't understand any of that at the time. Neither did the dad. Now, my parents didn't have the record on hand, and we couldn't very well go and dial it up on YouTube because YouTube was not to be invented for another 40 years or so. The folks didn't know what the blues was, nor did they know what vocal embellishments were. So they couldn't explain to me why Fats' version wasn't cool, and I couldn't explain to them why it was. Anyway, here is my version of Fats Domino's version of Blueberry Hill. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill, on Blueberry Hill, when I found you. The moon stood still on Blueberry Hill. It lingered until my dream came true. The wind in the willows played love's sweet melody, but all of those vows you made were never to be. Though we're apart, you're part of me still. For you were my thrill on Blueberry Hill. The wind in the willows played love's sweet melody, but all of those vows you made were never to be. Though we're apart, be still, for you were my thrill on Blueberry Hill.